Hey y'all, welcome to this episode of the Squad Podcast. I'm your girl, your coach, Coach Tasha Moore, where we are fighting for the best version of yourselves. Y'all, this is a space where we get real, we get honest, and we're open about the stories that we've shared. We're open about the things that we've been through and the triumph and victory that's come on the other side. And so on today, I am so excited about this episode. I have a true gem who I feel has such an amazing and powerful testimony of resilience and taking pain and turning it into purpose. I love this lady so much. So our topic today, we're going to be talking about when life breaks you and you find purpose in the pain, y'all, because that's a thing and it can happen. This lady, beautiful lady who's sitting beside me right now, is such a true testament of that. And so we've all experienced seasons of heartbreak, loss, and things like that. And Miss Clora has an amazing story of how she took something in her life that was very painful and turned it into a beautiful thing of purpose. So my guest today is the founder of the Jacqueline Rogers Foundation, and it's near and dear to her heart and mine too. And so she's going to explain to you who she is, what she does, and how amazing she is. I can't wait for y'all to get to hear from Miss Kim. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, welcome to today's episode of The Squad. Y'all, I'm so excited to have y'all here. How are we doing, right? New week, new goals, new intentions. How did we do last week? Did we reach what we said? If we did, we're going to give ourselves a big old hug. You did it, girl. You made it. I'm so excited and happy for you. And if not, guess what? We brush it off. We give ourselves one clap, clean slate. Today's a new day. Y'all, welcome. I'm so excited. I have this beautiful woman sitting beside me. She is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to hear y'all hear her story. Hey, Miss Kim, welcome.
Hello, Tasha. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Oh, well, thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for agreeing. I was like, I hope she says yes because I really want her on the show, y'all. Miss Kim is absolutely amazing. Miss Kim Clora, founder, CEO of the Jacqueline Rogers Foundation, right? Y'all, a baddie. This is one of the fashionable people I have ever seen in my entire life. She be on all day long. I'd be like, what? Girl, mix patterns, mix and match. I'd be like, does this go together? She's like, yes, it does. It doesn't matter. As long as you wear it and you're confident in it, wear what you want to, girlfriend. Head wrap queen. Okay.
Thank you.
Crown always on point. Miss Kim Clora, y'all. I love this lady. Thank you so much, Miss Kim.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to let her introduce herself to y'all, tell her who she is, what she does, and go ahead, Miss Kim. Tell us.
Okay. First of all, I am Kim Rogers Clora. I am the founder of the Jacqueline Rogers Foundation, breast cancer awareness foundation that helps women that are going through cancer without it being tied to their treatment. We provide a financial reward for them. I am a mother of 3. I'm a grandmother of 5. I'm a wonderful wife, if I do say so myself, to David Neal Clora. I am in the community helping when I can and doing what I can with the talents that I have. Every God-given talent that I have, I'm going to use. And if I borrow some from somebody else, God will be all right with that too. So, but yes, that's who I am.
100, y'all, that's who she is times 1,000. This woman is such a light, just such a true bright light in the community that we live in. She is always, everybody says I'm always on the go. Y'all, Miss Kim was always on the go too. My girl be like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, Miss Kim. But listen, she ain't got no children at the house, so I'm not mad at it. She is living her best life. Her and her husband travel so much. It's so cute to watch y'all. Like we out date night tonight. They eating, like we foodies. We love food.
Love it.
We love food. Miss Kim will try any restaurant. She'd be like, oh, you got to try this. You got to try that. So I live vicariously through her and her husband because my husband and I, we still got children at the house, but I'm hoping it'll be where you are soon. They in high school, so we almost there. So y'all, I'm so excited and so happy to be here with Miss Kim today. All right, Miss Kim. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay. The beginning of this journey started in 2005 when I first lost my mom to say that I was lost is an understatement. But it also, to say that I didn't realize I was lost is the real thing that I've just really come into grips with. It was expected but unexpected when she died the year before. Just the perfect. She had kidney failure. I've dealt with that the majority of my life since I was 16. And she had a transplant when I was like 17, 18. And it lasted almost 20 years. And then from there was downhill. The 2004, she was in a coma, like Christmas time. And I'm thinking, you come out of this, what else, we good. What can't we do? We fought this long, what can't we do? And then October of 2005, she was diagnosed with breast cancer that has spread to her lungs. And it's like, I'm sitting in the doctor's office and I'm like, they're not talking to me. They're not talking about her. This is not what we're going to do. I literally got up and walked out of the office as the doctor was talking. And I called my husband. I was like, babe, you're not going to believe this. This man said my mama got cancer. They not talking about my mama. Mama went in the hospital that day and did not come out. She passed on the 21st of October. And I was like, this is not how this was supposed to go. We have fought and been through and been up and been down. And there was no way that my mother was gone in a week. There's no way. So in that process, my husband went out to sea within 2 weeks after we buried her. I was at home with my kids and my mother-in-law. And it was just, I have never thought of myself as a motherless child.
Oh, wow.
I've not had my father in my life, but I never thought of myself as a fatherless child. You know what I'm saying? But your mother is gone. There's nobody on this earth now that loves you the way she did or accepted you in your highs, your lows, your in between, your good, your bad, whatever it is you did, you're still my child, regardless of what anybody else said. There was nobody to do that. And I was like, okay. And I was the meanest thing walking.
Wow.
I was mad at God. I was mad at everybody that was happy. I was mad at everybody that was sad. The world kept spinning and I wanted it to stop. So I literally made it stop in my world because I could control what was going on in my house.
Right.
I had a girlfriend come to me and she came and got me, picked me up from my house. And she's like, you got to stop. You can't do this. And I'm like, do what? You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly how you're treating people. You know exactly what it is you're doing. I was like, this is what I can control. Then you need to release. And I was like, whatever. I'm not ready. And I don't think I actually realized how bad I was until my boss was like, you got to come back to work. I was like, you do know my mama just died.
Oh, wow.
She's like, yeah, but I need you in the office. It's been 3 weeks. There's no way we can do this without, you need to come back to work. Went back to work. Anybody walked in that office got it. She was like, you can't speak to people like that. You can't talk to people like that. And I'm like, if you came in here with an attitude, I was ready to meet you.
You was just like, okay, let's go.
Right. And
okay.
I was working in a real estate office.
Okay.
And it was like, if your paperwork ain't right.
We're not even talking.
No, we're not even talking. We ain't got nothing to talk about.
Okay.
You ain't gave me what I need. You can't ask me why we not closing because we're not closing because of you.
Okay. Okay.
But it took me that. And when my husband came back and he was like, I don't even know who you are.
Oh, wow.
I don't even recognize you. What are you going to do? And it took me a long time to come to grips with, she's gone. There's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing. And a lot of it was, I felt like I didn't do what I needed to do with her when she was here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because you know your children.
Right.
You know what your children can handle and what they can't. And my mother knew I was a runner. If it got too emotionally overwhelming, I got to go. I don't want to deal with it. I was more of a person that I see it, but we ain't really got to deal with it.
Okay.
It ain't really happening. It's not real. And she knew she could have conversations with my sisters that she couldn't have with me. And then when I found out there were those conversations had happened, I felt some kind of way. I felt like I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And I also felt like I was left out.
Okay.
And I had to fight that for a long time. So when I moved to South Carolina, I was going back and forth on the road all the time, burning up 95.
Okay. From South Carolina to
Virginia.
Okay, Virginia. Okay.
Because I felt like I had left her behind. I felt like I left her. And I was going back, but I wasn't doing what I was supposed. I wasn't going to see my grandmother.
Okay.
And I wouldn't go to her gravesite because I couldn't.
Oh wow.
I've been at my mother's gravesite one time. The year after she passed, I went Mother's Day. I've never been back since. I cannot go. Okay. But my sister was like, well, you need to find you something to do. And when my coworker got diagnosed with cancer for the second time, we had already decided we want to do a fashion show the first year, and we gave that money to Susan G. Komen.
Okay.
And then the second year, my coworker got diagnosed with cancer for the second time. And I was like, well, why don't we give the money to her? And ever since, we have kept it locally. But it's just, this is a way to honor my mother in a way that I never saw coming. I never thought I could do any of what I'm doing. And sometimes I'm still like, girl, do you know what you just did?
Isn't that real though? Most of us don't. We're like, we stumble. I feel like we stumble up on purpose.
Yes.
Like from things that have happened or transpired in our life, we find ourselves doing stuff that it's like, how'd this happen? Do
exactly.
You feel like I feel like that?
I feel like that all the time because I don't have the education for it. I don't have any of the training for it. Anything that we do is trial and error. And I guess my sister said, you ain't never scared to try nothing. I'm not. And I guess that's part of it too, is the trying it. Because if you thought you really couldn't, you wouldn't.
Okay.
But if you don't have you have the fear, but yet you move forward, that is ideal.
That's the win, right? Moving from this, I don't know this is not familiar, I've never done this. Same, I feel the same way. Like I don't have the education, I don't have the degree that all these people, I'm walking in the rooms and they're like, oh, I'm Dr. This. And I'm like, hey, I'm Tasha, so I think that's the beautiful thing, Miss Kim, that was so powerful. It's having the fear, but deciding like, I'm going to move past this because there's something on the other side of it, right?
There's something on the other side of it.
I love that.
There's got to be something to make all this pain worth it. There's no way God said to me, I need her right now. Right. And I'm going to leave you with all of this.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
There's no way. But to see, and I would tell you this, a lot of the women that I help have the spirit or something that reminds me of my mother. And I mean, I could have a conversation with them. I'm like, the way she speaks, how quiet her spirit is, how she moves when she talks about her kids. It's something about them that reminds me of my mother. The first woman that we helped, her name was Della, had the spunk I have never seen in my life other than in my mother. When you tell this woman she can't do something, she's going to defy that.
I love it.
Defy that. My mother was the same way. She had 4 kids, went to nursing school, did all the things, became a nuclear plumber. She did so many things that she was the first to do.
Okay,
there is no
plumber. Period.
Smart. Just smart. It's just no way that I could come from that and not be who I am today. There's no way. There's no way.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so husband was away, all the things happened, and then friend was like, we're not going to let you do this. I love that. Y'all, make sure you have that friend in your life. You need one. All it takes is one to be like, this is not what we're going to do. Okay? I know that this is not who you are. So would you say that was kind of the turning point? Or, well, maybe when you went back to work and the boss was like, all right, now.
That was part of it.
Okay.
All of that was part of it.
Okay.
But just, I had to decide in myself, you know what? You can't hurt like this all the time. This is not what she wanted for you. This is not how she raised you. This is not who we are. This is not what she showed you to do.
I love that.
So I just had to decide, once, and it took a couple of years for me to actually get to the point where I had decided, instead of everybody deciding around me that this is what I was going to do. Then it became, a different story.
I love that you said that it took you a few years. Y'all, grief is a process. And it's not, for some people, it's instant. Like they grieve, they get over it, or not even get over it. They get to a place where they accept what
acceptance is the key.
Yes, they've accepted what has happened. But for you, you're saying like, y'all, it took me some time to get there.
It took me some time to get there. It took some years to get there, and especially to acknowledge that I have to deal with this grief. Because sometimes we take it and we put it somewhere else. And the thing about it is that we grieve so much that we forget the person lived. And that's where I was. I was grieving so much, I forgot she actually lived, that she actually laughed. She actually did things and was somebody. Yes. Other than the way she passed.
I love that you decided like, yes, my mom lived a life, right? And that is deserving of the honor that it deserves. Like you said, she raised children, she lived, she laughed, she worked. She was a nuclear plumber. I ain't never even heard of that, y'all. I'm gonna have to go look it up when we get done. I'm like, okay, I've never, but you know, they lived a life. And so what you said is so true. And it's so important to understand that grief is a process. It's different for everybody. It's going to look different for everyone. And that's okay. And that I'm going to grieve and I have to decide that I'm going to have to decide past the grief.
Because the grief will take you places you never inside.
Wow.
Places you never thought you'd go.
Oh, wow.
Places that if everybody saw what was going on the inside of you, they would institutionalize your harm.
Oh, wow.
Let's just be real about it, because it was a lot of people that came through that real estate office. I'm like, why are you not dead? Which is a horrible thing to say, but that's how.
But that's where you were. That's what you were. That's where you were. I mean, I get it. You were at a place where you're like, I don't like nobody. All of y'all can catch all of this all day long, and I don't care. Because grief does that to you.
It does that.
You know, it can take you to that place. But I'm so thankful that you had your husband, your people in your world that were like, no. And you made the decision to say, okay, I'm going to move past where I am to where I know my mama will want me to be. So I want to talk about your foundation. Your foundation is doing something so special. I love the essence and the presence of what you do, because no one fights alone. Nobody in Miss Kim world fights alone. And so tell us about I know you said the first lady's name was Miss Stella. Y'all, since then, Miss Kim, I'm going to start it. She does the royalty teas where we get dressed up for the tea party. Every single time I have an event or I have my daughters have something, so I'm never able to go. But I always try to support and at least buy a ticket. And I say, hey, Miss Kim, you can donate it. Do whatever you want to, because I want to be a part of what she's doing. She has the royalty tea. She does a pink ribbon. She makes a pink ribbon out of humans every year, which is so cool. And then she does the I'm going to say it wrong. The fashion show, but it has a name. The Destination Cure fashion show, which your girl be modeling in every year. So it's such a beautiful, like, it's more than an event. Like what Miss Kim does is make these women feel a part of a community that they probably did not know that they had. Right? So like, she hires people to come in. Those women get dressed, get their hair and makeup done. It's like a big deal to like showcase them. Like, yes, they're battling cancer and it doesn't define who they are.
That's not all they are.
That's not all they are. They're moms, and she had their kids there this year. And it was like, it's such a beautiful thing that she does here. We're in Myrtle Beach that I'm so thankful for. Like when I get to be in those places, the energy in there, I'm like, man, you cannot leave here and not feel like you're a part of something greater than yourself.
It is an amazing experience. And that's what I want each person that is there to feel, not just for the recipients, but for everybody that is involved, because your time and effort goes into this. And a lot of people don't get to see where their money goes, but you actually get to see, to meet, to feel the energy of the person that you're actually helping, which makes a big difference.
Yes.
In your giving.
It does. Listen, and one of the things that I absolutely love that Miss Kim does is the money that she gives to the recipients, there are no stipulations on it.
None.
Because I remember you sharing that, like, when your mom was going through it, like, any money that you got had to go directly for medical bills,
yes,
right?
yes.
And I think you said one time, like, we could not have food in the house, but it didn't matter. The money was just for...
When she was first got diagnosed with her kidney failure, there was money that was coming in that was directly for her care. So regardless of whatever the household needed, it wasn't there. That's not what once they allocate that money for your medical needs, that's exactly what it's supposed to go for. Wow. So when coming of age, I wanted my class ring. And I knew I couldn't go home and ask for a class ring because I knew we were not in a position to do that. So it's like as a senior, junior in high school, and you're thinking everybody else got theirs. I want to get mine. But you can't go home and be like, Mom, can we spend $200-$300 on a class ring? Yeah. And food needs to be bought in the house or something else needs to be paid? As a child, you are no longer a child. You now know what's going on in your household financially, and that's not a possibility. So when I decided to do this, my thing was whatever you need to do. Whether if you wanted to take your family on vacation and go, I'm not asking you no questions because you know what your children need. You know what your family needs. How do I look coming in? You can only spend this money on this. Right. When knowing your car payment may be needed. Insurance may need to be paid. Your kids need shoes on their feet. You can't go get your kids some shoes. Wow. They don't stop eating because you have been diagnosed. It doesn't work like that. Oh, wow. So y'all, I love that. She's like, life doesn't stop. Yes, you've been diagnosed with this, but life goes on. And so she puts no stipulations on the money that the women get. She's like, you use it in whatever way you or your family needs. And I love that. Now, don't get me wrong. We understand that there are medical needs and they get to use that get met. Their medical needs understand that their medical needs are being met. It's the everyday life that's out of balance. See? So I love that. I remember when we were there and you were like, I don't put any stipulations on it. And then you shared them, when you were younger, there was money there, but you couldn't use it. And so I was like, oh, wow. Like, it really does give them, because when you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with, the weight of it, you're dealing with the weight of it. But I think people forget that your family is dealing with the weight of that as well. The people that are in the home with you, taking care of you and all the things. So they're dealing with the weight of it. And sometimes it's just a matter of, we need a minute. We need a moment. Need as much normalcy as possible. 100%. Because everything else is out of whack. A lot of stuff is out of your control. But when you have somebody that'll come in and be like, do what you need to do. This is do what you need to do. Without somebody looking at you and be like, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. What's the point? What is the point if you are not helping them meet the need that's there? Jacqueline Rogers Foundation, y'all. Meeting the needs that are there. I'm here for that, Ms. Kim. I love that. And so if you're here and you're local and you're able to be a part, y'all, it's some of the most beautiful things that you will ever see. Those women get to experience it. Not just them. Like, I'm always excited, like, oh my God. It's always such a good time. The energy in there, everyone who volunteers, because it's a volunteer thing, it's a nonprofit. We volunteer from our hearts because what Miss Kim does is so important. And the ladies who receive, they're always so thankful. And there's not a dry eye. I don't feel like a dry eye in there. Like, they get the opportunity to speak and just talk about, and everything that she does is like referral based. Like, people refer people that they know. Or I think one time she was at an event and the ladies stopped to buy jewelry or something. And they started talking and she was like, oh my goodness. And so this last year, you were able to award 4. We did 3 this year. 3 women. Okay. We did 3 women this year, which was totally amazing. Yeah. And there's no way we could have did it without community, without corporations. Everybody came together in support of these women, and we were able to do what we did. Amazingly so. Listen, so it is not just about writing a check for her. She celebrates the community and these women in such a special way. And so I love that, because sometimes, people do the checks and there's nothing wrong with that. But Miss Kim definitely does make sure that it is an experience. There's music, there was dancing, dancers came and danced. So it is truly an event. Vendors, local, donate fashion for us to walk in. And so it's a beautiful thing. I love the communal aspect of it. Like, the community here as a whole donates their time, donates their product for people to walk in. And I got to walk twice this year. Your girl walked. I got to wear
TM fashion, which was like athletic wear. Y'all, I'm a son of a girl. I'm a girl, didn't I say? And then I got to do
Did you do persona this year?
I did Persona out of them all. So y'all support those. That's just to name a few. There's many. You go to Miss Kim's website. I'm sure they're all there. Support them because they support such a beautiful cause in the Jacqueline Rogers Foundation. Okay, so one of the things that I want to talk about is it's hard to keep going when you feel broken, right?
It is.
When you come from that place. And so I know this journey has absolutely positively not been easy for you. Were there ever moments where you questioned, can I keep doing this? I know you said before, like sometimes like you were a runner. So are there moments where you're like,
there are moments where it's like, I can keep doing this, but will people keep coming? Will I keep getting the community support that I need? Not this past year, but the year before, it was a struggle. It was a struggle to find vendors. It was a struggle to find people that were willing to let you borrow their clothes. It was a struggle. And I was like, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to keep doing this? And then I was like, girl, please, what's one no? I keep forgetting no is not a part of my life.
Okay, thank you. Mine either. That's why this is not a part of my life at all.
And the reason I say that is because if you tell me no, that means you're not a part of my journey. It doesn't mean the journey stops.
We're going to pause right there. That's a nugget. Just because you gave me a no, it just means you're not a part of my journey. It does not mean the journey stops. Continue. She dropping gems. Y'all better catch it.
And it does not mean the journey stops. It just means it goes in a different direction. You're not a part of that. And I'm cool with that. I had to learn to be good with that. Your no is okay. And it's all good. It's just teaching me to go in a different direction. And I'm fine with that. It used to be no was like devastating. What you mean no? I have to question you about that no. Now it's like, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. That means you're not supposed to be a part of this. For whatever reason, good, bad, or indifferent, you're just not supposed to be. So once I figured that part out and accepted that part, that it's not personal, it is what it is. It's over there. We're going over here in this direction. And just learning that part and being able to approach people.
Yeah.
Coming out of my shell was a lot because I'm a people person up into a certain degree. My limit is, I have a limit. Sorry, I do. And once you talk about being everywhere and going everywhere, I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'll be the first one there. And after I don't reach my limit, I'll be the first one out probably. And people be like, Kim, I thought you was, I was there.
That's why she's my big sister. Leave my mama. People think because of the things that we do in the community that we are people. Okay. Like we love people. And I'm like, okay, I've reached my social battery.
Yes.
My daughter is like, yeah, I've reached my social battery. And people think because we talk and we show up in the room that we don't have one. We absolutely
have. And you have to respect that because after a certain time of day, I become another person. One that needs to be home in her four walls where she can feel and release all of this energy that everybody done brought. So you can find your center again.
People don't understand. They're like, oh, you're always everywhere. My daughters, when we just got back from North Carolina, Charlotte, for a cheer competition. Y'all, this is my reset because this fills my tank. And people don't understand. They're like, where you been for the last 3 days? At the house, replenishing who I am. Because it takes so much for me to be in rooms full of people. And I'm like, okay, I can't wait. Same. People are like, I saw you and then I didn't. I was there. Catch me early, because after that, your girl is
you'll see me in the pictures. You'll see me in the pictures.
Look, few little poses. And then they're like, where did you go? I'm like, home. And they don't so I completely understand where you are. Like, you're around people, we love people, and we also have to do what it takes. But I'm like you. When I get tired or hungry, it's a completely different version of Tasha. And y'all don't want
Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want that.
So I'm like, let me get my little food. Let me say my little hellos. And I'm like, all right, y'all. And they're like, you just got here. I actually been here 30 minutes. And I'm, y'all, love y'all, mean it. And I'm gone. So I understand that. So you see us out, you better be there early because we sit at the house. I'm in my bonnet. I did a lot. I was like, it's bonnet time. Y'all, that's my favorite time of the day. I come home, put his hair up, and put that bonnet on. It's a wrap. We're done. I'm in my comfy, cozy clothes, sitting on the couch, chilling. And I don't even hardly watch TV. I just sit there sometimes in the silence. I think because our days are so,
Now,
for
see,
me,
you're
it's so
different.
busy,
I'm
busy.
silent in the car.
Me too.
I don't play any radio in the car.
Same.
I drive. My husband's like, how do you do that? I said, because I need, on my way to wherever I'm going, I need
Same.
to pull that energy.
Okay.
And then when I get home, it's like I had a TV on because I need background noise because I'm used to having a house full of folks, and I don't no more. So, but
most of the time, but it is something on. Same. I'm in the car in the silence. That's see. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so y'all, it does. The reality to all our squad sisters out there is you're gonna have moments where you're like, "This is a lot, and can I continue to do this?" On the other side of that is a yes, because what you're doing, someone needs.
Yes.
What you're called to do, your purpose to do, it's because there's somebody who needs it. And it doesn't matter if it's just one person, 20,000 people, 20 people, it's irrelevant. The fact is, somebody needs what you have.
And it's not just someone. It's a lot of somebodies. Because every time you open up your mouth, regardless of what it is that you say, is received differently for each person. So what somebody gets something from you every time you open up your mouth. And every time you decide you're going to step forward and live your dream, it releases somebody else to do theirs. And you have no idea who that person is. You may never meet them, but they see what you're doing and they be like, well, I can do that too. I know how to move forward now. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's our problem. We think there's perfection is what we need. Perfection is the problem. Do it messy. Because messy, you can clean up. You can fix. Perfection, where does that leave you to go? Nowhere. Nowhere. You're not perfect. You're not gonna be perfect. None of us are. And as long as we're not living in perfection, it can be messy. Messy doesn't stop the progress, does it? It may not be cute. You know, I'm always cute, but it may not be cute, but it gets done.
We're going to end the show right there. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, y'all, she's dropping gems. It doesn't matter how messy it is, how ugly it looks, how imperfect it might look and or feel to you. It is still necessary for you to go through the process. I cannot tell you, I just was thinking, when I hosted my first retreat, y'all, I had never even been to in my life. And it was like, my husband, I said, I don't know why. I just feel from the inside out, this is something I have to do. And I'm like, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. I've never even been to one of these. I just know I'm supposed to do this. That's it. He was like, all right, what we gonna do? You know, her husband's like mine, very quiet, laid back, but there if we need them.
What?
Running wherever can we go? Can you go? Fixing, hanging, whatever we need. And
addressing
like,
whatever needs, whatever's gonna stop your progress. He right there.
But after that, don't say nothing. Hello and goodbye is all you gonna get. They're in them corners.
Believe me, they in the room. Like they're scoping.
Yes, making sure. Don't run up on my wife like that because you don't want no problems.
Making sure.
Making sure we're good. And so I love that. It is so important to have a spouse that supports your dreams. And it doesn't take anything away from them. They are there. And I see him all the time. He there in the room. He say hello. And just about all you gonna get. But he be in the room making sure that his wife is good. And I love that. My husband does the same. What you need me to get, what you need me to bring, where you need me to go, where you need me to take the kids. He gonna be in the room for a minute. But other than that, he's stepping there at the end. He be out front taking them tickets.
That's it.
At the end, and that's it.
That's it.
You see him every day. But he is not like, nope, he there, make sure she good. He's stepping at the end so he can see the end when she walks in. But other than that, he like, nah, we good. As long as she good, I'm good. And so that's a beautiful thing from being in places where y'all are. I see it all the time. I was like,
we had a pack. We had a pack. I did 20 years of military life.
Listen.
I moved when he said we had to move. I raised kids when he was out to sea. I did what I had to do. And he was like, I got you.
Listen. I'm trying to tell you, same. My husband helped him build his business, do all his things. Now he's like, what you need?
Yes.
Like, y'all better get your man. Okay. We'll be there for all the things. I love that. That was good. I'm about to go back and look at this so I can replay it and write notes for myself. That was so good. Y'all, we are big faith women. I know Miss Kim is. I am too. I know for me, God has been instrumental in my life and in everything that I do. Is there a scripture that you would say is your favorite one? Do you have one that's like, or an affirmation that you say to yourself that gets you in that place, like I can conquer and do anything?
There, and I don't want to mess it up.
Listen, paraphrase. I
don't want to mess it up. But simply, I knew you before you were born. I know what you need, and I know who you are. And I have a tendency sometimes to forget that I am his child because I want to do stuff my way, and he'll pull me back. But it's never to do anything to harm me. Everything that he's done has either made me better, shown me how to do something differently, or made me an example for somebody else.
I love it.
The pain that I went through losing my mother, and a lot of people lost their mothers early. So I don't have that, but I felt like a little child when I lost her. But there's a way that we grieve, and everybody says it's different. It is. And nobody can tell you how to do this. There is, regardless of, they say there are steps. But for me, I've never been a process girl, so I've never done anything in the order it should have been done in the first place. So for me, grief is all over the place, and it catches you off guard. But you have to remember the person who raised you or whomever it is that you lost. Remember what they meant to you. Remember what they showed you. For a lot of my last 20 years, because that's how long my mom's been gone, the beginning of it, I didn't want to remember none of that because it felt I wasn't going to get it again. Okay. So I didn't even want to acknowledge that it happened. But it's to go back and to look and to think about it now. Y'all take the pictures with your kids too. Because I think about it now. I don't have a lot of pictures of my mom now that I haven't rehashed. Oh, wow. And we're in an era now where you can take all the pictures you want. Okay. There is no reason you should not have 55,000 pictures of you and your kids. And I don't care what you look like on that day. Take the picture.
I love it.
Because that's all they're going to have. Yeah. Once you're gone, that's it. And that's a lot to them. Because it means that when I see my mom's pictures now, but my mother was a very God-fearing woman. And she raised us to go back. You think you're not there. You think sometimes I'm not who God wants me to be or all that God wants me to be. But he knows exactly what you're doing. Every step he's planned for you, even though you don't even know that it's in the plan. But that's the plan.
So true.
And remember whose you are at all times.
I love it. Remember who you are, and he knows the plan that he has for you, y'all. I think we do to harm. Okay, but to
yes,
listen, y'all better say it. I love it. Mine is to everything. There's a purpose, a time, and season to everything. It's Ecclesiastes, y'all. So the no's don't bother me so much because everything has a purpose. Everything has a time. To everything there is a season. No matter what I'm going through or dealing with, it won't last forever, you know? And so it just reminds me, like, the rough times are times that I need in my life. They grow me, they mature me, they make me. In the moments, it doesn't feel like that.
It don't feel like that.
Like, okay, now, all right. But moving past that, like, it just creates the best version of you. And that's what we talk about.
It is always refining you, shining you, polishing you. We some diamonds. Y'all better recognize what them diamonds need. They got to get cut.
Listen.
They got to get that heat. And then you shine. You got to go through the process. And I hate the word process. But you got to go through the process first.
Like, listen. Okay, I'm going to start at 10 and probably go to 7 and then maybe back to 8
back. I might need to go back to 1 because they did say, you need to start somewhere.
Like, doing this all it works for me. I'm just saying,
that's how my mind works.
Listen, my brain is like over here and over there, and then I'm like, okay, and they're like, well, usually it's I'm not a usual type of person. I don't do things the way they usually does. So my team is always like, they just got to let me run and then go back and fix what I've done wrong.
See?
Don't worry, we got you, girl.
But it's sharpening her team because then they know the process.
They
Somebody
do.
got to know the process.
Listen, somebody has to know. Like, she's got to get all of this out. Because I'll take a trip to New York in my brain in a heartbeat, honey. And I live in South Carolina. And they'll be like, I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Am I in Virginia? And they'd be like, yeah, you in Virginia now. And I'm like, I'll say it. And then I'm like, okay. And they'd be like, all right, now you back in South Carolina, girl. Now, because honey, this brain be in New York before I even realize it. I'm like, we're going to do this. And they're like,
you know where you are? Do you know the capabilities of where we are?
Can we reel it in? And I'm like, all right. They'll be like, all right, you in Virginia. You're making your way back. And I'm like, okay. All right, girl, you back to South Carolina. We good. And then we move forward with whatever that plan is. So I love it. Okay, so Miss Kim, I know that there's somebody listening right now that is in that space and place where you were, that is stuck in the pain, and they are having a hard time moving forward. What would you say to her?
Acknowledge the pain. Also know that whomever you are grieving or whatever situation you are grieving, that's not all that there is. That's not all that there is to that person that you're grieving. The grief in itself is one thing, but life, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, but goes on. And you have to decide whether you're going to go on with it because it's going to move, whether you want to move or not. And you get to decide how you move. It ain't got to be fast and it ain't got to be doing what everybody else wants you to do. But you slowly have to come at it because there's no way you can be the person that you are or supposed to be when you're wrapped in grief totally. I'm not saying don't grieve. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that life will go on because I had kids. I still had little kids that were looking at me. My daughter was 16, my son was 7, and my youngest was 4. They looking at me. And I was what they needed to see at that time. But probably was because that's how God did it. But still, you need to find a way out. Find something that you can focus on that reminds you of whomever it is that you lost in a positive way. And if you are grieving a relationship, look, if it was supposed to be, it would have been. And if it wasn't giving you what you needed or wasn't, I'm not even going to say validating you, but giving you the version of yourself that you could look in the mirror and be like, girl, you are all of that and more, then what are we grieving? For real. That's all.
Are we going to end the show? No, I'm just like, y'all, it's the truth. I'm like, y'all, we stay in these relationship spaces and places that no longer serve us, and we don't move past it. And then we're wondering why it's the same thing year after year, moment after moment, second after second, and minute after minute. And it's like, because you're not deciding. It was just a decision.
It's a choice.
That had to be made.
It's a choice.
I'm like, you have to decide, like, grieve. Do the process, whatever it looks like. Maybe it's going to take you some time. It took her some years to say, I've got to move past this. So the first thing she said was acknowledging it. Acknowledge that I'm grieving. This hurts. This stinks. And I don't like this. And I have to decide that I have to move outside of it. And so, y'all, acknowledge it. I think that's the first thing.
It is. But don't think it's forgetting what you've been through or who you lost. It's not. It's really acknowledging the person that you lost, living because you're still here. They would not want you to grieve yourself to death. That is not what that's supposed to be like. That is not, for me as a mother, that is not what I would want my kids to do. And I know what my mother told me. And it was not to do what I did. But as usual, I did what she told me not to do. Because that is who I am. So,
y'all listen, that's the truth. I know as a mother, I told my kids, I love cake. And I was like, when I pass away, y'all better have every cake ever in life on the table. Y'all better do cha-cha slide because that's my dance. They was like, Mom, I was like, in remembrance of me, celebrate
The life
the
that I
life that I
lived.
lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, y'all, she took something that was so painful and decided that I'm going to make it something beautiful. Y'all, I'm not saying you got to start a foundation like she did, but you have to find something that you can carry with you as a part of them that makes you smile, that makes you remember who they were and
the
life
happy times.
Yes, the life that they lived.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so she took her mom and decided, you know what, my mom went through all that she went through. I'm going to help women that are battling cancer. And so what she's encouraging you to do is to find something that you can remember that makes moving through life a little bit easier.
A little bit easier. Because every time I help somebody, it's a reminder of my mother. Period.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And the woman she was.
And the woman she not was.
Is. Amen. Period. The woman she is. Because her legacy lives on. That's one of the things that I think about, like, when I'm gone, like what my daughters will take from the things that I taught them. And your mom taught you resilience and not giving up and to push through and don't let nobody tell you no.
No, you know what? And she used to say no all the time.
Listen.
But she was just a strong-willed person.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is, I got that. I had it all my life, and we used to fight it out, but now it makes sense. Now it makes sense.
Oh, I love that, Miss Kim. I love that. All right, and you talked about earlier, like the challenges in running a nonprofit, and like not this year, last year, but the year before. That was just like the vendors. So I know there are probably some women who are thinking about starting a nonprofit. Like, what would you say was your biggest kind of challenge in that? And then like how you overcame
the biggest challenge I found for me was the paperwork.
Okay.
Once I actually found somebody to do the paperwork, everything else was easy.
Oh, cool.
But just becoming legit and staying legit is in paperwork.
Okay.
And learning the process. And I still don't have the process down. That's why I have other people to do the paperwork.
Okay.
But you have to stay on. When you put somebody else's name on something, like I put my mother's name on this, there is no way I'm going to allow for anything other than what's supposed to be done to be done. So when you put your name on something, I can take the heat. Right. But it's not just your name being dragged. Yes. So you want to be legit, above board, make sure all your paperwork is done with IRS, the state, they are in your business too. But yeah, just keeping everything above board and making sure you're doing stuff as it should be done. And then a lot of the stuff you find out after the fact, but you can go back and correct. Okay. Because like state stuff don't come until you hit a certain amount of money. Okay. Or somebody decided they're going to donate from their job, and then that alerts the state. And then the state is always, they sending you paperwork every 6 months. Okay. So listen, those are squad sisters out there that want to start a nonprofit. Get somebody else to do the paperwork if you don't know how to do it. Y'all, I cannot tell you how God will place people in your life. Yes, He will. That when I tell you the parts that I don't like to do, I have realized women in my world, they're like, oh, I love that. And I'm like, oh, you do? And when I tell you the amount of people that have said, I'll do that for you. I'm just like, huh? And it's like, they see your vision and they see what you're doing and they want to help. So I had to raise my hand and lift them and say, okay, God, help me receive the help. That's the first thing. Listen, I got it. I could do it. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. I got this. But I very quickly learned that I am not supposed to do these things alone. That's not how He meant for it to be. Because by myself, yeah, I could probably carry the weight. But with the community, the squad, y'all, that weight gets lighter and we can do more. She started out the 1 year, one person was able to do one person. Now, y'all, she donated 3, and I'm talking about money, 3 separate recipients last year. And listen, I know my girl is looking to do bigger and better, okay? Because that's who she is. Like, she was like, she was crying, like, I can't believe it. No, we did 3. It was amazing. She was so excited. It was so beautiful. She was like, just wanted to help one. And then people were donating, saying, oh, no, let's do that. And she was like, wait, what? We can donate? We can do 2? And then somebody else was like, hey, let's call and be like, come get this check. You got to be kidding me.
So, y'all, your yes opens a yes for somebody else. I say it all the time. Your purpose connects to someone else. They cannot walk in theirs until you're walking in yours. God has people assigned to what you're doing. You just have to make the step to do it. Work, nonprofit, make sure, because I know I want to start one. I want to have a nonprofit for teen moms. My mom had me when she was super young. And so I want, and the amount of parents that kick, I'm not saying no judgment, but my daughter, my oldest friends whose parents were like, you got to leave. And they were pregnant, and it was just like, they're sleeping on my floor in my house because I'm like, they can't be out. And so I wanted to create a transitional home for teen moms to have a place where they can get resources, learn. Like my grandparents didn't know how to help me fill out a FAFSA when I wanted to go to school, have opportunity for them to learn about finances and things like that. So even though it started with me going live and him just saying, okay, I can't be walking around here mad at the world no more. Like I had to decide to move forward. Listen, I say all the time, I thank my husband for going along with my crazy and not leaving me in
what?
it. What?
Girl, dealing with that crazy? Dealing with that crazy?
Listen, I thank you that he stayed and that he fought with me and wanted to love me when I didn't want to be loved, And so I understand it's one of those things that you're just like, wow. I'm so thankful that he stayed.
He gets your crazy, girl.
Listen, I say it all the time. That is on my website. He is the calm to my chaos. That's my husband is the calm to my chaos.
Don't let it be falling all apart.
Listen.
And he'll be like, girl, what is your problem? I got this. What is your problem?
Okay, we're good. All right, Miss Kim. So what is next for the Jacqueline Rogers Foundation?
Oh, let's see. We're doing a workshop on March 10th called There's Beauty in Brokenness. And we're actually going to speak to what we literally just spoke to right now, trying to figure out where that beauty is, how to bring it out, how to acknowledge that it is there. Because even though you're in grief, you want to think everything is bleak and gray. It is not. There is still life and there is still beauty in what you lost. And you need to acknowledge that beauty. And once you do that, you're able to move on and carry that with you. Now that speaks for you versus just the signs of grief. So,
y'all, let me tell you how strategic God is. When I reached out to Miss Kim, she was like, wait, what? I said, okay. So I have, God gave me just a bunch of and I was like, this is the one that I think is supposed to be yours. And she goes to me, say that again. And I was like, it's called Finding Pain when life, what did I say? When life,
in pain.
Yes, when life when life gives you hard stuff or whatever, finding the purpose in the pain. And she was like, no way. And I was like, what's wrong? Do you want to? I was like, we can do a different episode. It's like, and she said, I actually created that how many years ago?
Not that long ago.
She was like, I actually sat down and wrote
There's Beauty in Brokenness.
And I was like, no way. Y'all, that is how strategic and God aligned thing. I didn't know that. I didn't know she had already written it, had it. And I was just like, okay, Lord, I feel like I'm going to ask Miss Kim to do this when I feel like this is her. Because like when I do it, I'm like, okay, God, who is this? Because we've all been through different things.
Yes.
And so I'm like, there's somebody who's been through this. I can't speak to it. And I was like, you know what? I think this is Miss Kim. I'm going to ask her. And she was like, there's no way. I actually already wrote something. I was like, what?
Yep.
And so now she's doing her class on next. It's next Tuesday.
It's next, Monday.
Next Monday. Y'all, if you are local here, be in that class. Because I promise you, your life will be changed because of it. Because that's who she is. The light that she has shines in every room that she walks into. And she doesn't take anything for herself. But she gives all glory to God along the way. But the light shines and it's bright and it's evident. She took something that was so painful and decided to take the beautiful parts about her mom and let her live on. Yeah.
Let her live on.
Listen. All right, Miss Kim. We are coming to the end of the show, y'all. I pray that you guys take the beautiful gems that Miss Kim was dropping about her journey from pain to purpose, how losing her mom was so difficult and so hard. And she made the decision to move forward and live the life that her mom would have wanted her to live.
She would be so amazing.
Miss Kim, I'm just about to say, I know your mom would have been like, wow.
She is tickled pink.
Listen, to taking something that was hard, her runner, and deciding I ain't running no more. Now, I still ain't going to follow the process.
I don't run no more. I stand.
I don't run no more.
Right.
She don't run anymore.
I stand in the fear.
Listen.
Move forward.
Miss Kim, we at the Squad Podcast, I love fun and I love to laugh. So we do what's called rapid fire at the end of every show. And so I just ask you questions and you are just going to say the first thing that comes to mind. All right? All right, here we go. You ready? All right. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Early.
Miss Kim be up like, good morning. I'll be like, she's up just like me. One thing you can't live without.
Ice cream.
Me too. Listen. It's a food group.
It is. It's breakfast. What are you talking about?
Now listen, I used to eat breakfast.
It's
now
breakfast.
My body be like, okay, now man. So, but yes, I love Miss Kim. Your go-to comfort food.
Macaroni and cheese.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it would have been seafood because I see you killing.
I love me some seafood, but you know it don't have that weight on it that you need when you going through a little something.
Okay. All right. A song that lifts your spirits no matter what's going on.
Oh, what's that name? The sisters. I can't think of their name. Mary.
Oh,
I'm still your child.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
I used to listen to that when I was in Iceland and I had my youngest son, and he was a preemie, so that was
wow.
Yeah. Shackles too. That was like
Listen, Miss Kim, thank you so much for being here. Your story of resilience is such an inspiration. And I, for one, am so thankful that you decided, you know what, I can't stay here anymore. That you made the decision, I'm going to move forward. And one of the things I did want to say, because somebody else said that to me, she lost her daughter. And I just remember in that moment she was talking about, I feel like I'm leaving her. And I heard you say that. The truth is, y'all, when we decide we don't leave them, we take them with us.
They're always with you.
Yes. So she decided, like, I'm not leaving my mama. She's going with me. And so she chooses to use her mother's legacy to help other women. And that's a beautiful thing, Miss Kim.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. And so thankful that God allowed us to cross paths, y'all. I'm like, this is my mama's sister, mama's sister, auntie, whatever you want to call her. I'd be like, hey, Miss Kim. I tell her, you got to come style me. She was like, girl, I will go through your closet with you and show you what does. I'd be like, does this match? She'd be like, yes.
All day.
And I'm like, but it don't matter. 2 different prints. She'd be like, it don't matter. Because I have these velvet pants that I want to wear, y'all. I haven't worn them yet. But I was like, I'm going to get Miss Kim to come show me. Because I'm like, I don't have a velvet jacket. And she'd be like, don't see.
Okay, I'm not gonna fuss. You don't need no velvet jacket.
She was like, no, you don't. Miss Kim being silks. And I'm like, Miss Kim. When I see her, I'll be like, I would have never thought to put the things together that she puts together. And she'd be like, girl, it don't even matter. It's how you wear it that matters.
It is. It's the confidence that you have when you have whatever it is. They're not going to call it ugly because they don't. No, ma'am. You're not wearing it like it's ugly. You're wearing it like it's the cutest thing on earth.
And what's funny is my youngest daughter was like that when she was little. She would wear cheetah and zebra and yellow boots. And they'd be like, you don't match. And she'd be like, no, you don't match. This looks good. I'd be like, and my other 2 would be like, are the pinks the same? I'm about to wear this yellow with this green and this orange, and y'all gonna catch
and all of this cute.
Listen, and they used to say, what's your favorite color? She said the rainbow. Ooh. And they're like, that's not a color. She said, yes, it is. It's all of them. I said,
that's what I'm talking about.
Listen, that's an internal confidence, and Miss Kim has it, and it exudes outwards. Do y'all hear me? So, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode, Miss Kim. Again, thank you so much, y'all. Remember that your purpose connects to someone else. They cannot walk in theirs until you are walking in yours. You can decide to move past the pain, through the pain, and walk in the purpose. You can take whatever has been painful in your life and turn it into a bright, shining light. Y'all, don't forget to subscribe, click the link, like, follow. I will have Miss Kim's information. And Miss Kim, before we go, how can they get involved with the Jacqueline Rogers Foundation?
Oh, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can show up, you can show out. There are many ways to get in touch with me. Facebook is one of them. I'm always up there. Come on out, volunteer.
Yes, y'all hear that? She needs some volunteers. My local squad members, I am expecting y'all to show up in a massive way to help this light that is shining become even brighter. All her information will be in the show, so how you can connect with her and be a part of the Jacqueline Rogers Foundation, y'all. Let's help her grow this light even brighter than it's already shining. If nothing else, y'all better show up for the human pink ribbon, okay? Y'all listen. Show up so that it gets bigger and bigger every year. And the pictures they take is always so cute, and I'm never able to go. My daughter's I'm like, Lord, this year I pray that I will be able to go because it's really cool when they post the picture and I was like, I wish I was there. Y'all have a good rest of your day. We will see y'all later. Oh, next week I will have on the show, y'all, that I always have an alarm for everything. Y'all forget it. Sorry. I have an alarm for everything. It's what keeps my world going. Y'all, I have to. That's the only way I'm able to do all the things that I do. I have an alarm for everything. Y'all, next week we will have Miss Shanice on the show. She will be talking about transformation and what that has looked like to learn to love the skin that you're in. Miss Kim, thank you again for being a part of the Squad podcast. I will see y'all later. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.